How's it going, everybody? All right, so this will be from the same album of the other two videos of potential neurodiversity. Neurodiversity, sorry. And this is from H Coyote, Choose Your Weapon, and this is their song Swamp Thing. And yeah, going back to the base of the other videos, I'm starting to kind of lose my voice, but let's go back in time. This is when I was in middle school. Yeah, let's say middle school. Um, Now, for me, given I had no idea I was really ignorant at the time, um, even though I thought myself to be really smart. It's very ignorant. Um, Now, for me, back in middle school, and this was when I used to be, hey, word up. Okay, sorry. Um, I used to have I didn't think twice about not epilepsy, the lead toxicity, the lead neurotoxicity. So, yeah, change your brain and alter it and stuff like that. It's toxic to the brain. So, darn it. So I am so sorry if I've sorry, I should have been up close up a lot more. But given that when I was in middle school, um I didn't really consider neurological impairment in the same way I didn't consider that when I was in Wisconsin from the age of what is it? I can't even remember specifically the age. It could have been like 9. But I know it was grades 3 through 7. And I didn't consider the neurological implications. I was just like, I must be just shy, and I must be just terribly shy. And so I made efforts to try to be less shy or less. I tried to hurdle over that social impairment. Um, and so came to, yeah, I guess I thought I was shy, and I guess during high school, um, I wanted to be among the popular kids, and even during middle school, I wanted to be among the popular kids. During middle school, that was when I actually started going full steam ahead with this drawing stuff. As I mentioned in one of my videos, I was I began drawing because I saw another kid and he got some I guess popularity because he used to draw. He drew a little swordsman with a sword in his back, and I was like, I can draw that, and so I drew it. And then people like that, and then I started drawing some more and drawing some more and drawing some more until I've had better reasons for why I draw now. But yeah, I just draw. I draw a lot more and draw for better reasons rather than popularity. Even though I like giving people like my work, uh, um, but um, I remember that during high school, I mean middle school and high school, I just wanted to be accepted. Um, and that was even when I wanted to even when I wanted to get some uh some social acceptance from the drawing. I saw people who, because back in middle school they used to call me a retard, because I was just socially uh inept, socially broken, I guess. Socially unable to socialize like other people did. And I kind of chopped it up to, okay, I was weird, but I'm just introverted. I'm just shy, rather than it's a neurological impairment to actually, socialize like other people socialize, whether they're are, introverted or not. And even then, I seen this person when he described the difference between um, Sorry, that's always distracting to me. That part of the song. Okay, sorry. If I don't think about it too much, I'll be fine. But oh yeah, the lady, she had this idea, or this guy. I'm pretty sure it was a lady. She had this difference between autism and social anxiety, and is that people with social anxiety, they can still successfully communicate and engage in social activities, whereas the autistic person has trouble understanding the rules and the languages and the sayings and the nuances, specifically, most definitely the nuances of society. And so, saying, I'm going over the edge, or don't push me because I'm close to the edge, which is where I think it came from, which is interesting. Um, Sorry, no, I keep saying young. They won't get it. They won't get what the reference is or the nuance behind it. You're pushing me over the edge. Was that means you're angry. But if because they don't get it, they'll be like, who's pushing you over the edge? I'm not pushing you over the edge. There's not even an edge around here. So they take things extremely literally. And so it kind of reminds me of a person I actually met, an autistic person. I didn't know. I just thought he was really rude. It was at this camp. And I don't haven't talked to him lately because again, I didn't know. I had no idea. I just thought he was rude. I thought he was, kind of selfish because he was really straightforward and he was like, I didn't really know how to interact with him, because he was so blunt. And I thought him being so blunt was like him being so rude and difficult to talk to and kind of self-seeking. But he was just blunt. So if he wanted something, he'll tell you. If he needed something, he'll tell you. There wasn't really like any nuance attached to what he did. And so again, I didn't know back then. I was just like, dude, kind of rude, man. I don't really want to be around that. But yeah, the more you know, and hopefully, if I get a chance, I can talk to him. But when I was going back to high school, because I keep going back to it, I wanted to be popular, and those who were socially impaired, I kind of like, and those who were socially just not there, socially not there, but socially not popular. I I communicated with them, but I knew until I met the actual popular people, and I was like, I can't do that. That's them, And so I always consider myself kind of neutral, even though people would consider me the lower echelon of the social ladder or platitudes to be a nerd or things of that nature. And so I was like, you know, I'm not gonna hang around the nerdy fellows, like I would because I wouldn't hang around anybody, but I'd gravitate to people, and if they wanted me around, then I would. But sometimes I would just have a lot of trouble with that. Um, yeah, um, yeah, I would have trouble with it, and I would just think like, I'm just a placeholder, I had trouble talking with these people, and it was just like, you know, it. I'm just so bad at talking to people. It's just it sucks. Because it's like I want to be, I want to engage like other people, and they have fun, and they talk, and they ha ha ha, and they seem like they're enjoying themselves. And for me, I'm like, I want to have that, but I can't force myself to like something I don't like, or talk about something I don't know. And so my social life was not a lot, not great. Um, Sometimes there was good things. Sometimes there were things that was like make me want to regret or at least not relive high school life. Um, and it kind of reminded me of my trouble with keeping friends. But there was one friend at high school, was a great, good friend, very good friend, person I occasionally speak with, and even in that's few and far between because just the relationship isn't as it used to be. Uh, um, Again, I that's my fault. I had trouble maintaining a relationship. He did great. There was times when I was in Northern, um, he was far away, and he drove to pick me up, and we hung out for the weekend. And that's a true friend right there. Um, Me given, I just couldn't maintain that level of attention. I just couldn't, so I fell off. I definitely fell off. I had my focus in my schooling, making friends there, surviving there, trying to get bad there. Um, I was just so distracted there. Um, Not just the roommate who was occasionally questionable, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, if he wants to protest that, I'll definitely give him some examples. But I'm not saying I was perfect. I'm just saying that the situation, had I known, and again, it happened. I didn't know. Uh, it just occurred. Uh, but I remember, I guess if there's anything, he would, back in the day, he used to call himself Kingpin, and he would wear suits, and yeah, he would just have this swagger and demeanor of just like a businessman. He would just be so funny. He was like my best friend at the time. He was a good dude to talk to. Um, I just knew for myself, I saw my deficits. I was still insecure, and I knew occasionally I poured that onto him. So I apologize. And it wasn't that I was using him, and I guess back then I felt guilty about my insecurities and my imperfections. And I did say that because I guess I just want to push people away. And at the same time, I did like hanging at his house because he had stuff. He was a lot more in the economic class, a little more wealthier than I did. I was in our apartment. Family was in the apartment. I was in the house. They had nice meals and stuff like that. But I enjoyed his company. That was just kind of like you know, okay, let's go to his house. Would he want to go over here? And I think I invited him once, and it was just like it was crowded over there, and he had the stuff. So he had the games, and we just played at his house. It just, I guess, if there's any truth to the statement, it's just it wasn't like I wasn't sure of who to consider a friend, but looking back, I would consider him a true friend. Someone I actually confided in. And I'll go to his house. We play games. We get frustrated like the average person, like the average friends. Um, uh, yeah, it just stuff that happened. Things I don't really want to relive occasionally. Some things, other things I would because he was a good friend. We hung out a lot. He was a very giving, like very friendly, a very funny individual. I remember he reached out to me when I was first. I think we were on a bus and I was reading manga, and he was like, "Hey, this is cool. This is a cool manga." And I remember like I was teaching. I don't know if I was helping him or he was learning himself, but he was drawing. He was trying to draw because he saw me drawing, and I was drawing at the time. And yeah, I don't know. I found the friendship very good, and I find him to be a good friend. I hope he's doing well. He says he was doing business. Um, Wishing him the best. I pray for his success because he's a very good dude. I think around 2014 when I ran because we used to go to this anime convention called ASIN, Anime Central, and I ran into him, and I ran into another guy, and he cut his hair because back then he used to have long hair. He used to have braids. Cut his hair. Still had a business suit. Sorry. Okay, sorry, I just get confused. Hopefully this does not happen because I know it's kind of making me nervous. But yeah, I guess I had this disdain for the mentally impaired, and excuse me, because I used to in devs in high school because I was called weird by my brothers, um, and I used to get picked on by my brothers, including my little brother. Um, I was and this was in the past, it's not in the future, or not even in the present. I have a good relationship with my brother in the present. Um, I'm just checking this board here. Oh, back in middle school, they used to call me. I think I mentioned it. They used to call me a retard, and because I was socially weird, and I don't know why they called me that. I think that was just the word that they understood at the time for a socially weird person. They even commented on my nails, how it was like it's a different color from everybody else's, and thought it was like an infection or something. I was like, no, just naturally my nails. It's like, yeah, chew them an awful lot. And sometimes I would chew too deep and get an infection on my skin, but the nails themselves they're natural. They're just naturally darker. Um, but I like the attention that they brought sometimes. But and I think that was just the point. I wanted attention. I wanted acceptance. And I didn't really want to be associated with people who who were, as they call me, as a retard. So I didn't want to associate with actually impaired people because I was like, I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be them, you know. And I avoided them. But there was a time when I met this woman. I don't know this young lady. I don't know what she could have been autistic, but I can't remember what she had. But I knew I felt uneasy just because although she seemed normal, there was something off. And she seemed like a nice person. I think she even wanted me to join them in their she invited me to their prom, like a prom for special needs, even though I was went to like special ed courses occasionally, so it's just kind of awkward that I never considered that. I guess it was just a shame. I think it was just shame. Um, you know, I don't know. I think I would just express hesitation or like what's the word? Not resistance, but it was like some sort of hesitation. Some reservations. Yeah, reservations. And so a friend of mine or a person I knew I happened to associate with, um, I think he asked her out, probably because I was so reserved about it. And I was like so apprehensive. I didn't know what the heck to make of actually taking her out. And plus, I had this girl in mind. And actually, I had the girl, and I had another girl in mind and I ended up, unfortunately, going to actual prom alone, But again, had I had can't change the past, let's just say that. But she was a very nice person to talk to. Um, and I think maybe she liked me, but I just couldn't accept myself or anything associated with the insults they charged me with. I just couldn't accept that or accept myself for that matter. So I was just apprehensive, and I looked for a friend, looked toward I had a best friend, another best friend. It was a lady, and she was an artist too. She was a pretty dope person. I talked to her probably a few months ago, and could have been earlier this year, something like that. And that was when I had a PS4, and I actually gave her my PS4 for a price. But that was because that was how we re-talked, and we watched a movie. It was called Sorry to Bother You. And, first half great, second half not so decent at all. Not so decent. Let's just call it that. It's just but yeah, looking back at that, I saw my self-hatred, and it was just my shame, and it was a lot of self-hatred, skin, how I thought, how I talked, what I did, but just acquiring this knowledge. And it took me a breakup, and again, that's how this journey to self-discovery started. It was from a big breakup. Thankful to God for it, even though it was really messy. I questioned God a whole lot, like, why am I doing this? Why is this happening? You wanted, and I felt the impulse to do it. So I don't know if it was God ordained or not, or it's just my own personal impulses, but I knew there was a lot of push and pull there. And I was in there alone, and it crashed and burned terribly. And it just, I don't think either of us have actually recovered from that. But however, my eyes are clearer today, and I see the journey from there to here, and I'm grateful because I would have never gotten here if it wasn't for the journey that I took back then, from the breakup to everything else, to the blindness and the ignorance and the arrogance that I had in my own knowledge, to now just seeing things for what they are and just seeing wisdom. Sorry, this song, I like it. It's Fingerprints from Haters Coyote. Okay, so I said thankful to God, I can see clearly. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I think that's from Marvin Gaye, and that was like one of that friend of mine. Also, he was an old soul. He was an old soul. He was so old, man. He was like my age, if not younger. He was, but he loved the oldies. He loved them some Marvin Gaye. Uh, I don't know some other people, but he loved some old stuff, and maybe that rubbed off on me because maybe that's why I like jazzy type stuff or older stuff. Because I like soul stuff. Like neo soul is great. I love neo soul, but soul back then was just as good. I don't. Talent is talent. You know that's something I learned from a relationship too, because even though there was musicians that she liked and I didn't, and I couldn't deny the talent. Like talent, man, they guess was talent. Um, and that's from like them Korean boy bands. Different topic altogether because I have mixed reviews about the boy bands. Talented, but so cultural appropriation. Let's just say that. It's just that. Okay, so grateful for self-discovery and knowledge and the journey that God's put me through. I believe. But to bring this back home, am I potentially neurodiverse? I don't. I still got to read the rest of this because this is one of the findings from um, the people from the lawyers and the attorney and stuff like that's the neurological findings. And thank you, Molly Rice. I don't know if it's okay to mention the lady's name because it's lady and also guy, but thank you. You too. You know, um, been a blessing. Thank you, parents. Thank you, God. Well, God, you know, you omnipresent. So you know, thanks. You know, so um, I don't know. I mean, is it okay to mention a name? I'm just gonna mention Sergeant and Green. Let's call him that. I know you can find it, but I just want to say thank you, thank you for your work in the past and your work today. So thank you. You've been a blessing to me and a blessing most likely probably to other people. So I appreciate it. Um, so point I'm driving home is some people would consider, and I've wrote this down. Some people would consider Aspies or those on the ASD, autism spectrum disorders, as superheroes with superpowers and with because of their strength. Um, if there's any potential neurodiversity in me, I would consider, based off that analogy, that instead of being born as a superhero, I would be the ones who's exposed to a chemical or exposed to some substance, and I became a superhero. So, like Daredevil, sure. No, I guess you can call it Daredevil because, yeah, he got a heightened senses because his deficit. I mean, his chemicals hit his eyes, and you know, he's superhero. That um um Spider-Man, he got bit by a spider, so he's Superman. I mean, he's a superhero now. And I don't know any others who aren't born. There's probably plenty of others given Stanley's universe, Marvel comic universe. But that's an analogy. If they were born, then I was made. You know, so regardless, I mean, I don't blame the fate that I have, and maybe I'll have this stuff till I'm dead. But I'm okay with it. You know, neurologically, I may be different, and maybe that means I'm neurodiverse. I can't say. I know for a fact that the lead changed my mind in some way, so I had these differences. But praise God for the age of the internet because you can always learn. So, even though, and I say this, and I guess I'll just read this verbatim. I think that while I may not be an awesome aspect or a person, an awesome person with autism, I can think of myself as a creative person. I mean, a person who's focused, a person who's learning, which is a blessing, a human being, a person who's occasionally blunted in my literalism. Literalism, you know, I can be literal, blunt in terms of my thinking. Like, no unless I got a reference. I am a sensitive person. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. Um, I'm a person who's balancing optimism and pessimism. Um, I'm a person who occasionally battles with his own depression. I'm a person who's impulsive, you know, given the lead. Um, and I'm working around that. Um, I'm a gamer. I am an old soul. Appreciate you, Mr. Kingpin. Um, um, I'm a singer. You know, at least I'm trying to check out my SoundCloud. Down the outlaw. Um, I have a short-term memory, or I'm a person with short-term memory issues, or at least retaining that issue, short-term memory. I'm a hardworking person. I like using my hands. I'm a person who likes using my hands. Hence the drawing, hence the gaming, hand-eye coordination. Um, I'm a quirky person. I'm odd and socially awkward at times. Person who have issues with topics and persons uh, unbeknownst to me prior, no reference, no knowledge. So I don't know. So if I don't have a reason to know, I don't know, then I can't assume. I just don't know. I used to think this was like being polite and stuff like that. It was just like, no, these are deeper issues than being polite. But yeah, I consider myself, I'm an intelligent person. I'm a person passionate in the truthfulness. Doesn't mean I don't lie. It's just I'm passionate in the truth. Um, and even then, I can be like very black and white sometimes with that. I'm a Christian. I'm detailed. I'm compassionate. Empathic. Yeah, empathic. I'm determined. I'm uh, among also another thing I mentioned with empathic is that again, if there's not a topic I'm familiar with, my interest is probably not going to be there unless I can attach it to something that I'm interested in. Then I become interested in it. Just want to throw that in there. In addition to me being empathic, sometimes I just don't know unless somebody communicates and explains it to me. But yeah, I'm determined, and among other things, I am mostly myself, and I want to mention a few other things. But although I'm mentally impaired, and if that's the case, I'm still alive. I still have intelligence, and therefore I still have hope. And if there's love still abounds, I still have hope too. Because the greatest thing in the world is love. Um, it's just finding the intelligence to accurately and appropriately apply love to situations using intelligence. Um, I still have hope. Despite all the craziness that's happened, I still have hope. I have support, family members, people who care about me, um, and that's it. I'm me, man. Um, and also, this is Erica Badu from No Love from Erica Badu from our playlist. I mean, from our album called Baduism, which is also interesting. I think I already mentioned why her name's Erica Badu because it's like Erica something, and it's Ka from Egypt, and Badu is a scat word. Badu, 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 Badu. And because she likes the word. And she used to be like DJ Apples, which is funny because it just shows she's a creative. She don't give no cares about how people how she sound other people. She just becomes her, and that's amazing because she's a creative among everything else. And also, did you know she's from the 5%? It's like gods or something, partner of gods or something like that, and how they believe that gods are in man, specifically the black man. That's she's part of the 5% nation. I thought that was interesting. I think I was going to mention somebody else, but I can't remember his name. Yeah, Electronica. I don't know, but that's just going to be it. I just tell people who do have these similar issues, don't give up. I'm sorry, this is definitely on the 30-minute mark, but I just want to encourage people who are dealing with these things, just don't give up. There's always a way. And for the aspies out there, I hope you weren't too offended by my self-discovery. I know better now. I just hope I can learn more so that I can be prepared for other things, other people. Um, I thank God and I thank Christianity for the structure that it's given me, the structure in living, the the way to understand things and to interact with things and to appropriately approach things. It's just given me so much. It's given me so much. So I'm definitely focused on talking about it, but I really do have a value for it because this is so helpful. I don't know for the common man, but I think it's so helpful for somebody to latch on to if they don't have anything going for them. Like just try it out. Check out the New Testament, check out the Book of John, check out Acts, check out Romans, First Corinthians, Colossians. They have so much content, so much helpful knowledge and content to live by. Proverbs has a lot of practical knowledge. Um, Ecclesiastes has a lot of philosophical knowledge. Um, Genesis has a lot of what is it? Would you call that mythos? Maybe some people take it literally, like a creationist. I can consider myself a creationist, even though none of us have seen like the beginning for ourselves. So, uh, but that's another topic in its own self. That's it. All right, guys. You guys take care. God bless. Excuse me.